afraid. Be very afraid.
The PlayStation 5 is excellent. PS6 is definitely going to be in the $600 price range alone.
It's got to be. Because Taiwan's going to get invaded by China and we're going to run out of chips.
It's true.
It's going to be only the elite. Yeah, only the elite are going to get the PS6.
They're just going to give us Xboxes. I'll take it, though. I'll take it.
What's going to happen to the California Highway Patrol?
Chips. Right over, buddy.
Chips.
Clean
Chips.
Oh, I hate you. But only as much as I hate his hair and chips. Oh, man. All right. Well, that was an interesting cold open for our Xenomania episode on April Fool's Day, the movie and the day.
It's a great horror film because there's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns, and the question is, we were talking about it earlier. It's been 40 years. Are we just going to throw spoilers out there, or are we going to be nice? How are we playing this?
I thought John threatened your life.
Let's open with that question. I did threaten your life previously if you spoiled it, but now let's have that discussion quickly. To spoil or not to spoil? Can you, in 2025, spoil a movie that came out in 1986?
Yes, because there's such a huge generation gap. Now, are people actually going to watch that movie is the question. Is there a 14-year-old who's going to somehow stumble upon this podcast and be like, oh, I'm going to watch it, but Ryan ruined the ending. And then he starts a whole career trying to murder Ryan for his horrible deed. It's possible. I don't think kids today can handle a movie from the 80s.
It was pretty creative.
They're different. It is. It's a good movie, but there's a different cadence. There's a different tempo to films from back then. And people have a hard time with them.
True. I feel like
even veterans.
Yeah, it's just how it's aged. But I feel like this movie aged like fine wine. I mean, the dialogue it's a little off, but it's like that typical 80s, like teenage slasher, maybe a little comedy into it. I mean, you got Biff from Back to the Future. I'm throwing that out there. I was so excited.
Biff's in it.
I forgot he was in it. I was like, butthead.
You see his face and you try to figure out where you know him from for a little while too. It's like, where the hell is that guy from? Good Fly. Oh, yeah. This movie, I'm on team don't spoil personally, but it's just because
I think I'm on team spoil.
Sure.
I wasn't, but I think I'm on team spoil, but we will tell you when the spoilers are coming. So you can pause and go and come back an hour and a half later and not be spoiled.
After our rant.
An hour and a half later, not tonight, not after the Friday we had, gentlemen. What about you, Ryan? You're the deciding vote. Spoil or not to spoil?
I agree. If we're going to spoil it, we at least warn the viewers because I highly recommend this film. It's a good slasher because it's unexpected. Like how it's just an unexpected ending and how it just builds up to it. It's zany, it's fun, and you can see the actors having fun in the movie. Like they're putting their heart into it, even though it's like you're not Marlon Brando, you're not a Halle Berry, it's not you're just a horror movie and you're just having fun, and you see it in them, and you see the smiling and just even the overreaction. It's nice. It's a nice vibe.
Yeah, they were all high when they were filming this movie, 100%.
That too.
Yeah,
nothing
100%.
wrong with that.
Fall on it, but it's like Home Alone meets Friday the 13th a lot. The way that the kills happen and stuff like that too is very like what yoink is. It's very silly, very dumb. I liked it. It's a good watch. Mousetrap's another thing I thought of.
Yes.
Mousetrap?
Yeah.
Screamboat?
Remember the board game?
Oh, that one.
That's Scream. Yeah, the board
Mouseboat?
game.
Mouse Experiment?
The Steamboat Willie. John's on a Steamboat Willie tear, everybody.
Hey, what do you call it? The Steamboat Willie one, the Screamboat. that one I want to see because Steamboat Willie's played by the guy Art the Clown. So you know that's
Yes.
just going to be out of control. And it's a little mouse. It's not a human mouse. It's a little guy. Nervous,
Mr.
but
J.
interested.
I have serious reservations about all of this. All of these like public domain turned horror movies. There's a Popeye one. There's the Pooniverse.
Yeah.
Who's the first one? Was that the Winnie the Pooh one?
Yeah,
Blood
it was
and
the
Honey.
Winnie the Pooh one, I think. Yeah, which no,
Wah, wah, wah.
no.
They
not-
tried saving
Double
it
wah, wah, wah.
and it didn't work. Finding Neverland looks pretty decent. And I
Oh yeah, I
said it
forgot
in
about that one.
yeah, in an earlier episode, I said they did a Pinocchio one, or they're going to do a Pinocchio one. And the guy who created Chucky from the first Child's Play did the animatronics for the Pinocchio movie. So I feel like those two, but do you really want to see a rabid Bambi go on a murdering like rampage after the death of its
Of
mother?
all of them, that's probably the one I want to see the most.
Yes,
To be
I-
honest with you, the way you just described that sold me instantly.
I have a thing for killer animal movies, so absolutely.
You know what? It's coming out soon that I'm excited about is The Death of the Unicorn.
Yes.
Olivia, well, not Olivia. Oh my God. Jenna Ortega, Paul Rudd. There's a lot more in that cast, like a star-studded cast.
Is John Malkovich in it?
My God, I hope so. I hope he plays the unicorn.
I think it might be streaming as of today, which is not the day you're hearing this. So it's out, should be out already.
Okay.
No way. It's direct to stream.
I think it is. I'm looking.
It's an A24.
Yeah, no, as we all hold the Zoom meeting, eyes down at the phone. 55% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's out.
I don't believe that. Like, I believe it's out, not
That's
55%.
That's a wild low number. Oh, it's Death of a Unicorn. When's it come out? Why to watch? No, just tell me where I can stream it.
Today, March 28th.
Okay.
Well, all right. It's Apple TV. Oh, you have to buy it, but it's streaming on Apple TV and Prime. You can get it on any of the platforms. It's fair. I don't mind the idea of direct to TV streaming purchases for 4K TVs and stuff.
Rather that. I like watching at home more than I do in theaters most of the time.
Now, yeah. A few years ago, I really was a theater slut, but not even a few years ago, I guess, since we did time travel from 2020 to 2025. It feels like a few years ago, but like 2017, 2018, we're going to the theaters. And now we go for kids' movies now. That's about it.
That's cool, though. To get the kids into the movie experience and to have them fall
They
in love
love
with
it.
film. Yeah, just to see it on the big screen, it's so different. But it has changed because of what COVID is. And it's like, oh, you can rent a movie that's in the theater for $20 and you got popcorn at home, candy, whatever. It's a cheaper option, but the magic of going to the movies it's still there and it should be experienced. Like,
Even if they did $35, $40, I'd be cool with that. Cover the ticket price for 4 people. That'd be fair. You know what I mean? Or 4-ish people. Like, I'd be okay with that amount of money.
I think the theater experience is how you really fall in love with movies. So once you're in love, you can watch them anywhere. But that big screen,
Fair.
like you get the big event, the Star Wars, the Jurassic Park, the movie that looks amazing, that huge. And then it translates to home because I mean, I think COVID only sped up that transition. I think we were going to be a lot more home releases than we were before COVID anyway. I think that was coming all along.
April Fool's Day was directed by Fred Walton, who directed and wrote When a Stranger Calls in 1979. And
All of
Daniel,
them.
but there's more?
Yeah, like there's a remake, there's a sequel. And the sequel is like When a Stranger Calls Back. And then there was a remake, and like he's responsible for all of them.
I mean, the first one I know is a classic, but I did not know he did. Oh, okay. Like, I feel like, yeah, like it could be a miracle that the same person can write a sequel or something and it'll be successful, a la John Carpenter, Halloween 2, or Clive Barker, Hellbound. But When a Stranger Calls is such a great concept for just a solo movie. then necessarily doesn't need a sequel.
Or
Or a remake. That's a whole other. See, we need an episode of just like remakes that should have never happened.
That would be like a whole year's worth of episodes, man.
yeah,
Yeah, for video games too, by the way.
Well, that's a whole other. Yeah.
Keep thinking of What a Monster Calls, which is another movie. That's a sad movie though. Watch that if you want to cry. That's the one where the kid's mom is dying of cancer, and the kid like can't handle the reality of it. So it just comes up with this fantasy initiation by a monster to make the kid ready to accept the fact that the mother's dying. And by the way, if we're doing a spoiler-free episode, I just spoiled the entire movie for you. By the way,
Spoiler alert. Too late
There
for
you
that.
go. Spoiler
Too
but
alert.
if
late.
you want to, there's another movie that's the exact same plot, but it's called I Slay Giants. And it came out like 4 weeks later. And I went on a deep dive at one point because I was so pissed that it's literally the same movie. But I was trying to figure out which artist came out with it first. And there's two authors. They're both novels. And one of them did steal the entire story from the other one.
You want to
Feel
talk
free to cut all this out. But
No. This is perfect. You know why it's perfect? It can segue into there's actually a similar movie to April Fool's Day. It came out on November
Oh, wow.
14th, 1986. It's called Slaughter High. So
that does seem like it's similar.
it was originally called April Fool's Day, but they found out April Fool's Day was using the title, so they changed the title to Slaughter High. It's a similar theme. The log line is after an April Fool's Day prank goes wrong, a group of adults return to their defunct high school for a reunion where a mass killer awaits inside. It's similar theme, different premise, but it's more of the slasher route, while April Fool's Day is like not to be like crazy or anything. It's fun slasher. Like it's fun to see these deaths in April Fools because they are so zany. I mean, Biff getting hooked upside down by a rope. I mean, like
with the snake.
That was the best. So
Yeah.
the best part of the movie, though, is that when the guy kicks the snake out of the way, the fake grass and gets kicked away too. Like the $4.50 budget right there was so amazing. They didn't even try to make that look natural. Just the rugged grass and the snake leave the frame. Look, it was a real snake, though, right? It looked real.
yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was animatronic.
Oh, man, that could have been animatronic. I don't know.
You think they had enough budget on that?
Microplastics are in my brain.
I don't know if they had enough budget.
Might have. I mean, an animatronic snake is probably not super expensive.
I don't know.
Yeah, or you could
It
just
looked like it was moving
you could
pretty
just
natural.
get Santino Morella to come out.
Yeah. Snake. It's a snake. Exactly. As far as like big budget, like scary-ish, gory sort of things, there's really not much in the movie.
No, there's
Not
not
at
a lot of
all.
blood. There's no blood. Not a lot of blood, I would say.
So I
There's-
think like the uncertainty is what gets people with it a little bit. Not even uncertainty, like the shock value of stuff, or appropriate way to say it.
Were you shocked when his eye popped out after the boat crushed his head? Buck.
It was an odd throwback to a kid asking me today if I would eat a pig eye with him. I was like, ooh. But
would you eat the pig
Yeah.
eye? Would
I
you?
declined. There's no upside. There was no sweetening of the pot. There was no, if you eat the pig eye, I will, like, I don't know, do something like a student might, like read or write. It was just eat a pig eye. It was, no.
Just would
Well
you
done.
eat it?
The head getting crushed, that is pretty gory, actually. I'd forgotten already about the gore factor there.
And then the only other partially gory part is when the boat goes underneath when they're making out on the boat, on the houseboat thing.
Robin Kit.
That's really the only.
It's
'Cause
about
you
it.
see Skip's body like all like dead and stuff. The makeup job was pretty good on him too.
It's
A lot of the makeup
Yeah.
was done very well. I'll say that. But he looked like
you know what
a
the thing
zombie.
is about the movie is the campiness of the deaths and everything make the ending that we're not spoiling yet somewhat more kind of, it pops a little bit better once you start
Mhm.
thinking about like how silly some of this stuff was. But even without that ending, and or what I'm sure we'll bring up in more detail later is the mythical alternate ending as well, right? That's supposed to be a thing. Oh, you didn't know about that, Ryan?
No.
Apparently it exists, but was destroyed, and they were going to put it in the Blu-ray edition,
I did not know
and they can't
anything
find
about
it.
this.
But it's written down, so we know what it is, just not film. The film isn't there.
I need
Yeah.
to be spoiled on this because if it's
Oh,
like,
we'll get
I
to
mean,
John will probably know.
We'll get to
Yeah.
it. So
Well, I don't have anything else on the movie. Yeah, let's get to John.
now that we're on the writing, I'm gonna steal Ryan's thunder here a little bit where you were about to go. So this is April Fool's Day is written by Danilo Bach. The name probably doesn't mean anything to you, but when I tell you what this was his writing follow-up to, it's gonna blow your mind.
it blew my mind when I found out.
I'm preparing to be blown.
The first movie he wrote was Beverly Hills Cop.
Why did I know that? But why does he sound like the villain of Beverly Hills Cop?
He does, right?
Yeah, he's one of the alphabet murderers.
We'll go a little more Beverly Hills Cop trivia. You know who was originally supposed to star in Beverly Hills Cop?
Sylvester Stallone.
Who's the actor who plays Steve Urkel? No
Stallone.
way.
Yep, it was going to be a Stallone
No
movie.
way. Can you imagine Stallone, but still being written in as the black cop in Detroit? Because how do you make him a white cop if he's in like that area of Detroit? You can't. That's
He's
so
gotta
not
be-
Stallone.
He's got to be Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, which no, Stallone definitely doesn't have the swag to pull that off.
Yeah, so
I'm just a jerk player, never do this.
so basically what happened is they would have had to drop the comedic elements of Beverly Hills Cop. So instead, you get Beverly Hills Cop with Eddie Murphy and Cobra with Sylvester Stallone.
That's a better setup.
And there was
yeah.
way more stuff.
Stallone tried to do it. Yeah, Stallone tried to do it and Stop Her, My Mom Will Shoot. And while it was an enjoyable hang for what it is, Beverly Hills Cop is priceless.
Many times in the 80s, Stallone tried to go away from action. It was brutal.
100%.
Tango and Cash's peak Stallone. Well, you can't say that because Rambo and Rocky won. And I will say Rambo and First Blood and Rocky won. I love the rest of both franchises, but those other two are Oscar-worthy movies.
Yes.
Yeah. And people don't realize that. They watch Rocky 4 and they think it's the same. It's not the same as Rocky.
It's the
at
same
all.
thing with First Blood. First Blood is
Yeah.
a totally different film. It's an action film, but there's more drama than there is in the second, third, and God forbid the fourth and the fifth one. Just twisted necks
way
left
more.
and right. Is he
Well,
human?
they
Is
did.
he human?
Yeah. It's the only franchise that didn't go that route, I think, is like the Alien franchise, maybe, or Terminator kind of did. They just ramped up action. They started in the 80s and then, or like ramped up in the 80s, some started in the 70s. And they just got to like more explosions, more death, more gore, couple boobs.
I mean, really almost immediately with the Terminator franchise. Terminator 1 is, and Terminator 2 is a great movie, but
Yes, it is.
the action goes from, the bits that are in Terminator to every scene is an action scene.
Yeah, exactly. And the Terminator 1 aspect of it is, I think, what you're getting at, just to blow wide open, is just dramatic.
Yes.
It's incredibly dramatic and it's deep. You have to think about it. The time they take in certain scenes where James Cameron highlights, I forget the name of the actor who plays John Connor's dad. Spoiler alert, everybody.
Oh, Reese.
Reese, yeah. So she whatchamacallit. And just in the scene with the car where he's describing the future and everything, that's one of the best scenes in the movie. And they're just driving.
Yes.
Yeah. There's great attention put into that sort of stuff. And Terminator 2 is like, no, we're just going to oil up Arnold's pecs and we're getting to it.
Terminator 2, though, was more, I feel, what came out, 92, 94, between 94, 92? I'm getting the years.
I was young. So
But I feel like Terminator 2 compared to Terminator 1, like a lot of kids saw that. I saw that when I was 5. It was on broadcast TV, but I saw it from beginning to end. Even though it was cut up, you get introduced to that action. Then when you see it, the R version, it's okay. You're kind of you're getting into it. You're getting into that R rating at an early age. But I feel like T2 is more for the younger audience because of the young John Connor, Edward, Edward Furlong. It was just like he thought, oh, he's cool. He's got an attitude. He's rebellious. He's hanging with Arnold. And then the first one, once you get older, I feel like teenager, late teens, early adult, you appreciate the first one more. Because I appreciate the first one a lot, but the second one's just
It's Clams Casino compared to, I don't know, a Lobster Tail. That's Terminator 1 to Terminator 2, in my opinion. They're just different things. It's to sit here and say one is objectively better is a wild choice, but like say one is a more artistic film is not saying one is better. I think the first Terminator is more artistic. And then you get like T3 where, and then we're moving in the direction of the Christian Bale one and all that. I think there's a Hawkeye one, right? Where
yes.
he's the Terminator. He doesn't know it. That was a cool idea. But anyway, we're going to spend more time talking about the Terminator franchise on this episode than we do April Fool's Day, which, by the way, is something in common with the subject matter we're on, because it is just throat cutting left and right in this movie. There's not as much dramatic lead-ins like there would be in a Friday the 13th. They don't make it scary like Halloween where you don't know where Michael is. It's just like, yo, gotcha, dead. Yo, gotcha, dead. Yeah.
I like the build up in the beginning when they introduce all the characters at the dock and you kind of see each personality. I thought that was pretty cool. Watching it took 30 minutes to do it, but it initiated all the characters. And usually, like, I've been looking into this when writing a script, you shouldn't focus. They say don't focus a lot of 30 minutes in time for a horror film because there should be a little like action into it, right? And for 30 minutes, it's just character building. And I think that's brilliant for that time. And then you get Buck's lost eye and all the action starts from there for an hour. And that's a pretty decent flow. Nowadays, you have to see someone get killed in the beginning, and then it's like a death every 15 minutes for, let's say, a 2-hour horror film, like Scream, for example. It's just character development. You get to know the characters, you know who you like, you know who's annoying, and then it goes into the killing. I like it.
It's good. It's a fun watch. It's like putting $1 in the pinball machine, or not a pinball, a gumball machine, and 16 gumballs come out.
Yes.
Instead of whatever it is, one. I would have said a quarter, but it's 2025 inflation.
It's $1.
Yeah. But that's what it feels like. It just feels like you just got like, whoa, right? And the money keeps coming out of the slot machine or whatever. It's fun. Trying to think of my favorite deaths in it. Can we say them, or is that spoilery?
Well, spoiler alert.
Not really. We talk about that stuff all the time. I'm trying to think of my favorite ones. You guys have them?
I can't. Well,
The
I
boat
can't-
head crushing was a good reference.
that was.
I
have one on
think-
my mind.
I think for me, you nailed it already with the rope and the snake.
That one's super. Yeah. That one's super good. I put us on like extreme pause mode with this. I shouldn't have put you guys down on the spot. Sorry.
Well, no, I have one on my mind, but I can't say anything until we talk about the ending, because it happens right after the
right.
ending.
All right. Yeah, that's one I was thinking of too. Okay, so we're gonna go into the spoiler mode now. So if you listen beyond this, we'll suggest you jump to 10 minutes before the end of the podcast. Then that way I can tell these guys to get their top fives done in under 25 minutes. And we won't have any more spoilers at that point. So all right, from here on there are spoilers. There you go, guys.
Spoilers.
Let it rip, Brian.
Spoilers.
Let it rip.
So, all right, we find out it's an elaborate prank the whole time. It's been a setup. So Muffy.
Oh, wait. Before we get into the spoilers, none of us talked about how this is basically Catcher in the Rye like movie. Everybody's rich. They all suck. They're all bougie. That's part of why you like them dying, because they suck. But they're also funny in how they're over the top rich and bougie. And that's why the name Muffy is what brought me back to it, because
Muffy.
that's the most. Yeah,
Muffy.
exactly. So we
Muffy
forgot to
and
bring that up.
Chad.
So if you're anti 1%, this is the film for you. All right, sorry, right?
Oh, you're good. You're good. But Muffy throws this party, and it's an elaborate scheme, but it's her way to keep the houses. She's trying to make it an attraction. She's going to make it a murder house, and her test subjects were Rob and Kit, which we haven't even mentioned how, real quick, Rob is the same guy from Leprechaun.
Yep.
Oh,
That's it.
shoot.
That's in my notes. It's our favorite Kevin Bacon knockoff.
Amazing.
As he's knocking against the wall. Let me out. Go save yourself, Kit. But Kit also, she was in Friday the 13th Part 2,
Yep.
the actress.
And Muffy is Deborah Foreman, who is in Real Genius and Valley Girls and like all these like quintessential 80s like sex comedies.
Yeah. Which there's no market for these days, guys. If you're under 29 years old, you probably under 35. You probably, I don't know, because Brian's in that area. So I'd say I'm going back to 29. If you have no idea about what that era was like with movies, Weird Science and things like that,
Porky's.
right? Porky's, those raunchy comedies.
I just found out about another raunchy comedy, and if you guys have seen this, I'm interested. It's called Screwballs.
Oh, interesting.
John, you know what I'm talking about. The characters' names are very outrageous. Like one was Rich E. Harding. Like just like
The name.
and
What a friggin' name.
it's basically Porky's in a nutshell, but it had my curiosity. Worth the watch.
There's so many of them. Like those 80s, like teen, early 20s sex comedies kept HBO like stocked for decades.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
Hard
and
Bodies
scrolled
movies.
They just rolled through those. And then I don't know, at one point we got our like big splashes, like Dan Wilder style stuff, which was definitely homage to those, but there were a lot of those. Like Road Trip isn't one of those movies. That was a different, maybe tangentially close genre wise, but not. Van Wilder was like the exact raunchy, kind of thing.
I would say Euro Trip.
There's no,
that was more raunchy.
Euro Trip can count.
That was raunchy.
R.I.P. to the young actress, by the way. I forget her name. That's really bad of me.
It's Harriet the Spy.
Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yes, Michelle Trachtenberg. Thank you for making it feel, me feel like less before. I heard she had a liver transplant. Let's spill the tea. She had a liver transplant like 18 months ago or something.
It didn't take.
I didn't know that.
Did she go full Frank Gallagher? Because she looked like somebody who may have gone full Frank Gallagher. Not to besmirch the passed on, but she seemed as though maybe substances were a thing. If you guys don't get the reference, it's Shameless, and their father's an insane alcoholic in the show Shameless, and he gets a liver transplant at some point, and then it goes back to drinking.
He turns yellow.
Spoilers.
Let me stop. Yeah. He turns.
I didn't get that far in Shameless.
Really? If you didn't get that far, then you're never going to finish anyway, so it's fine.
I'm never gonna finish. I suck at TV.
There was one season where we stopped and we kind of looked at each other and we were like, we're done, I think we're done.
I think that was 5 probably.
So
5 or 6.
Yeah, probably.
I just finished.
They put the spotlight on the youngest sister, and we always hated her. So.
Oh, Debbie? Debbie's a pain in the ass. If they focus,
She's one of the worst characters.
yes, she's horrible. I was so happy when she got her. Let me stop. Let me stop.
But the show is seasons 1 through like 3 are amazing and Shameless for sure.
Did you watch
I think that's
Paradise
where
yet?
we tapped out.
What's up?
I was asking John if he finished Paradise yet, because we did. And okay.
Still episode watched.
Okay.
Can you get to the kaiju part?
Yes.
Where you figure out you're still on
Spoilers.
episode 1? So you need
Spoilers.
to know nothing, because if you haven't gotten past episode 1, there's so much goodness in your future. You and Allison have to do that.
It's amazing.
I don't want to dox.
I'm going to say it's amazing, and
You
you're
and
going to love it.
Frank has to do. Yeah.
I'm
It's
pretty
a
sure
good
I've
show.
said her
I've
name on
just
here
been wrong.
before.
Yeah, I've said my wife's name too.
Oh, I've seen
Right,
Jenna's name.
Esmeralda?
But
She's completely checked out. She's 8 feet away from me. She's no idea.
I just
Whatchamacallit? There's been a couple of shows. Invincible's newest season finishing up was also great, by the way. But yeah, I know you guys aren't big into Invincible, but just check out the cast.
I gotta get into it. I keep trying to get Jada involved, and that's where it's like, well, we gotta watch this, this, and that. She's right now. What's she watching right now? Honora, the Oscar winning. So she's checking that out tonight.
Cool.
See how that goes. But we just finished. What was it? We just finished Reacher. That was good. The last episode, season 3, came out. But circle back to Invincible. That is on my list. I want to read the comic too, but it's just like sometimes it's hard to pull people into the animation world if you're not used to the animation a lot. It's
We
hard
work with someone
sometimes.
like that
Yeah.
who just refuses. I think the direct line is, I don't watch cartoons. I'm like, all right, you ostentatious douche, but you do play like Warzone. So let's not get too up on the high horse. And plus, I'd say, and I'll fight on this one, Invincible is superior to The Boys.
Yes.
At least where The Boys went. Maybe not season 1 Boys. Maybe they're on par, but later Boys, definitely. Invincible's just really good.
I'll give you one. I'll shoot you one out. Lazarus from the makers of Cowboy Bebop.
Okay.
That's I
Yeah, I
think
mean,
that
and
drops.
there's another one. There's another one where it's like, I'll fight for that too. You don't know Cowboy Bebop? You should be.
I know
We
of
should
it.
demand that you got to put it on when you go to sleep. That's the whole thing. That's how we all were introduced to it.
With the jazz.
It popped on as we were falling to sleep. Yeah.
That's the age gap the other way.
What happened?
That's the age gap the other way. Like Ryan,
Oh, yeah.
Ryan's on the younger end missing out on things, and I'm on the older end missing out on it.
You didn't never watch Adult Swim? Were you just a tad up on that? No? Wow.
Squidbillies.
I
I guess you
Metal-
were right after.
I watched Metalocalypse. That was
Metalocalypse.
Okay,
is
so
good.
you were aware of it. Metalocalypse was a solid show. But the Cowboy Bebop era was enormous. And we're not talking Tsunami. This isn't 5 PM. We're talking 11:30 at night. The jazz music starts, and you get space bounty hunters, but it's noir.
Mhm.
It's cool. It was just cool. It still is cool.
I will be watching
One of
that.
the best endings, too.
Oh God,
now.
yeah.
I'd have been all in if you had said new war, but that's not what you said.
I didn't say new Guar for the listeners. Guar. Guar is it's
Awesome
a
band.
house electronica band that John listens to. So if you haven't, check out Guar on Spotify.
I highly recommend
You'll enjoy their upbeat music.
Schools Out. Their rendition of Schools Out is great. I'm just saying.
Beavis and Butthead introduced me to that band.
It's Guar. I just watched the thing with them doing lives. They were doing one of the live music videos, and they were making fun of it. And the dude from Live, I think like the guitarist from Live, was commenting on it in Instagram. It was super cool. It's like, oh my God.
So it should still be on YouTube. There was a video when Odorous Youngest was still alive of him reading Goodnight Moon.
That's awesome. Yes.
That's cool. That's cool.
And then they did
That
like
rules.
they did that like Tiny Death concert series for like NPR or whoever did that. And they did a Billy Ocean cover. It's just like
Okay.
it's just an awesome band. And like the way to experience them first is visually more than through their music, because their live shows were
Have you? I'm presuming you.
I can imagine.
I'm presuming you've been to a live show for Gore, because I know you get
missed
sprayed
it.
with blood.
I
Or
missed it. They were
Not
in
into that.
they were in New York the December before Dave Rocky died. And we were like, we should go. And we just never pulled it together to go. And I don't want to see him with somebody else.
It's fair. It's like but you're not into the whole exploding. Like I think they would explode. Like it wasn't blood, but it was like red food dye onto you, like in the front of the crowd, just right in your face.
Still not into it.
Oh, I'll give you this one.
Because I'm thinking of the train ride home. The hour and a half train ride with blood all over my face on Metro North. Nope.
Conductor coming up. Where are you coming from, Gore? All right.
War show. We should probably circle back, gentlemen, to the spoiler ending of April Fools, by the way.
Well, okay, sorry.
Yeah,
So,
all right. We were talking about April Fool's Day.
That's right.
I was gonna say Muffy reveals that whole scenario, right? Kid finds out. But this is like I think the best supposed death scene, we can call it, quote unquote, is when Muffy's on the bed and she does the Jack in the Box, and Nan comes out of nowhere and cuts her throat, but it's fake. It's fake blood. Watching that for the first time as a first time viewer, it's like, this is insane. So she was the killer the entire time. It's not fake. You know, she's gonna kill her. Maybe she's pissed. And then second time viewing it, you kind of notice that it's fake blood, how it's going down. It's like,
Just
all
a
right.
little thing in our hand.
So the thing watching it, the first time you watch it, the end is like, holy, wait, that wasn't real at all. When you watch it more times, you notice the things that are clues. Like, one of my rules of watching a horror movie, if you don't see somebody die, they're not dead. And you see none of the deaths.
So this is why we couldn't identify our favorite gory deaths, by the way.
You don't
because they're all off screen.
Yeah, then you just see like the head rolling and stuff like that. Like there's his body parts.
like the first time you watch it, you might notice that, but you're not gonna put together that, wait, this is all fake, because it's so out of left field. Like you don't expect that that's what's gonna happen, and then you have everybody's alive.
As long
On a fair thing, on deaths not being seen, the guy from, real quick, My Bloody Valentine, the one who gets like hung up, we didn't see really his death and he died. I'm just gonna throw that out there. His death was real.
I mean, listen,
Kinda.
the rules aren't like set in stone, but it's generally safe to assume if you don't see the death on camera, unless it's like a PG-13 horror movie, if
Okay.
it's an R and you don't see the death, they might not be dead.
they might not be dead.
Fair on that. Sorry, I had to play devil's advocate because I was thinking about that. I was like, we didn't see that guy's death, and he was dead.
I mean, there are definitely exceptions to it, but it's pretty safe when you don't see that death.
Okay. Fair on that. Did you guys notice Agatha Christie's and then there were none influences on it? That was
No.
pretty cool. No,
No. Now did you get a little?
the island, the
Please
disappearance-
explain. Please explain.
the island,
The
the
island.
whole disappearance of each individual at each time. One person kept missing from the group.
That's cool.
It
Actually,
was at different parts of the island, like in the book, different parts of the island that the characters will go missing or murdered. I don't want to really spoil that book either. Actually, I don't want to spoil that book because that's a phenomenal book to read. But
Yeah.
very, very similar.
people don't
concept.
read anymore. It's 2024. Spoil it. They're all on
Bullshit.
TikTok. They don't give a shit.
No, I'm not spoiling that. That's a great book. People should read that.
It is a good book. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good little influence.
My one little complaint, and it's fairly minor, is the final two when you get down to Kit and Rob. Like, it's pretty predictable from the start that they're gonna be the last two.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
tell. But like, yeah, even in that, even as they get to this end, like the detail that Muffy put into creating this thing, the fake note from the mental hospital about her twin sister Buffy, which would make me question the kind of psychopaths that would name their kids Muffy and Buffy.
People, I mean, if that's the metric, we're well beyond saving at this point because we're in a whole different realm of asshole these days. And somebody who named their kids Muffy and Buffy.
I think they're just descendants of that asshole.
I mean, it's true. One prototypical asshole ancestor for sure. It's a good.
Reppies to yuppies.
Once you make your way and you find out that there's a breadcrumb trail and you can go back and like enjoy picking the movie apart and figuring out you're being deceived and everything. One thing I think the warm and cool feedback came with was it's established that the movie is all a ruse and nobody's really be dying. And then they kill her at the ends, and then they reestablish that it's still a joke. It wasn't really jump scary. I think people were pissed by that. They were just like, why? Why did you do it again? Kind of thing.
Mhm.
They just annoyed people. I didn't find it to be that egregious. I was like, oh, more of the same. Hooray. And that was the end of the movie.
Mhm.
But with the alternate ending, let's have a little chat about that, John.
Ooh.
I want to hear
And
this.
tell us about
Okay.
the alternate.
That alternate ending would have completely changed the way you view that movie. I forget who. There 4 of them go back. I believe it was Skip, Rob, and I think one of the other girls go back to the island, prank Buffy, and I believe it's Skip in the prank. Just gets pissed and actually kills her. Like, it's not a prank.
And that's the way they tie the twist in. Yeah, it's actually pretty smart.
Okay.
But you'd walk out of that movie feeling completely different.
100%. Which one's better?
That's
Out
tough.
of those two, and keep in mind what the movie is and what you watched and what the experience was like. You get to the end and you're like, oh, that's why, kind of thing. Because it's not a horror movie. It really isn't.
No.
It kind of is.
If
Sadly,
you're
it is.
keeping the tone the same, then the ending they went with is the right one.
Agreed.
I agree.
If you go back and you edit it to up the horror and gore and everything else, then you go with that alternate ending because then it works.
They should do like the fool's cut. And then they have one that's gorier and whatnot, and then go with the second ending, and that'd be sweet. You could release a double-sided DVD set, just printing money, baby. Printing money. Let's go. We should be in charge of this
For
stuff.
$29.99, I'd buy it. I want to see it.
$28.99. We're not price gouging.
All right.
We know people are hurt.
$1 less. For April Fool's
Or you go to your local Tower Records, your Sam Goody to pick it up, kids.
on laser
And that'll
test.
be that. And everything in the world, and then we're healed. The world is healed. I think the ozone's fixed.
You have to explain Laserdisc.
Son of a
Oh,
bitch.
God. I mean, Laserdisc, we're talking about that gap. Laserdisc was around, but I was like, I don't know. There was like T-balls era, maybe. Laserdisc had become obsolete until I was a preteen. So I never owned anything on Laserdisc. Betamax overlaps. The Venn diagram of Betamax and Laserdisc exists for sure. So you own 2 things on Laserdisc?
2 Laserdiscs. And I
You
got
should
them
keep those.
completely by accident because I meant to order the DVDs and I accidentally ordered Laserdiscs. Die Hard
Okay.
1 and Die Hard.
Oh,
That's
dude,
fine.
you have to hold on to those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's collector's edition material right there. How many of those do you think are in circulation?
Not that many.
Not a
There
lot,
can't be.
probably.
Listen, I'm not hoping it happens soon, but when Bruce Willis goes, you're not going to finish my statement.
We have Tim
We're all
Curry.
going to college.
We have Bruce Willis. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
I didn't
No,
know. I
Bruce.
actually thought Tim Curry
He
was.
didn't kill Bruce.
He didn't.
He
didn't
only
kill
killed Tim
Bruce.
Curry.
I did. He's hanging on though. Tim Curry's dodging the Reaper left and right.
He's a
My
low,
final destination. Yeah.
low hanging fruit right there. Like just
Somebody referred to him as the butler from Clue the other day. and I was
Wadsworth.
instantly angry.
Wadsworth.
Not Wadsworth and not Tim Curry, the butler from Clue. And I was like, dude,
Bullshit.
it's like calling him the bellhop from Home Alone 2. You swine. It's Tim Curry. Put some respect on his name. At least I was warning when I killed him. God.
There's no respect anymore. Rodney was right. There's no respect.
But I wonder why Tim Curry hasn't been out in front of the camera. Is it a full Gene Hackman situation where it's just he's so damn old and we didn't notice?
Wait, you
Or-
don't know why Tim Curry's not in front of a camera?
Please Edify me.
You got that
Tim
one,
Curry
Josh.
had a massive stroke.
Oh God!
Yeah.
So not only did I kill him, but I didn't know he had a stroke.
He's
Sorry,
like,
Tim.
he's I think largely paralyzed.
Yes. Same thing with Sinbad.
Great.
Sinbad went the same thing. That's why you don't see
Wait,
him.
Shut
Brad
your
did too?
face.
Yeah, he had a. That's
I
why
didn't
you
know
don't see him
Sinbad.
any.
That was very insensitive, John. What you just did. I saw what you did. Just
What I
put-
did.
If Ryan got to see your video, that's why you know. Yeah, that's what you did. Yep. Yep. Cancel.
Wait, that wasn't meant to be a stroke. Wait, hold on. That's misunderstood.
I don't think any of
That-
them are.
that was-
I don't think
that
any
was-
of them are meant to be strokes.
that was surprised Sinbad look. That was
Oh,
I was surprised about Sinbad because I didn't know that.
I can tell you that he made that surprise look at least once.
Are you gonna? You're gonna tell me? You're gonna tell me Shazam doesn't exist either? All right, starring Sinbad.
Is Sinbad still alive?
Yes, yeah, he's still alive. He's he's in that same situation. He's better than Tim Curry.
Sucks, man.
He is better than Tim Curry, where he's getting
Something
better,
else.
but Tim Curry shot no.
Something like micro machines that can go through your veins with pipe cleaners and just do that. Take care of all that.
Nanobites.
Like, why aren't these rich people doing that? Yeah. They just take some piano wire and they're like, "Doop, doop, doop, doop," they clean you out.
Because the rich people are too
That's-
busy like going on retreats on islands and pretending to kill each other.
Oh, there you go. We're
Yeah.
back to April Fool's Day. Yeah.
yeah.
We actually had to wrap that up though. And this episode for that matter. We're basically cracked out, everybody. Sorry to say, but we're exhausted. If you had noticed, there's been a few yawns. At least one of my eyes is way more open than the other. I'm still trying to figure out how to even it out.
And
So
you're
we're all
accusing
very
me of
tired.
doing Sinbad.
Well, I think this might actually be from a stroke. But whatchamacallit? No, that was April Fool's Day. This is one of our last special episodes that we're going to do for a while. Then we're getting right back into Phantasm next week.
5 Ravager.
We're going to finally finish out that damn franchise and move on. What's after Phantasm, lads? Another horror movie. All right,
Yes.
everybody. So that was April Fool's Day. And we're going to roll into our top 5. Ryan, why don't you hit us with yours today?
I was
curious.
influenced. I was influenced by John because I always do like 3-quels or 4-quels or sequels or whatever. And I thought about this and I said, what are my top 5 twist ending movies? And
Oh,
I was going to go with some that were familiar. And I said, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to go with ones that I was shocked watching it for the first time where I was like, we're going to start it off with 2004, James Wan, Saw. Saw, the first one is on your edge thriller. There's like, it doesn't cross a line yet, like the second one. You're on the edge. And the twist ending.
it's the only good one.
Oh, yeah.
Can I be real? It's the only good one.
Yes. Yeah.
When the Dread Pirate Roberts being abducted by Jigsaw was the greatest twist in any horror movie. I agree with you. If you get that reference, you can be my friend.
Well, the twist is when John Kramer, Tobin Bell, gets up because you're watching it, you just see his body on the floor the entire time, and then he just gets up and walks out, and he's just like game over and shuts the light. And as a viewer watching
Is that after Cardaris cuts his leg off?
yes, he cuts his
Yes,
cuts his
that's-
foot off,
Spoilers.
escapes,
Yeah.
and leaves the other guy chained. That's my number.
And then
5.
he witnesses it. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He witnesses it.
And he's like, what? And he's like, game over. Click. Which leads to number 4. Talk about game over. 1987. Mickey Rourke. Robert De Niro. Lisa Bonet. Angel Heart. Now, you watch that film, even reading the book, and you go through this whole thing. Yes, this is all spoiler ridden, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are interested in seeing these
Spoilers.
movies, please stop now. But if you're a sick person like I am, who can read spoilers and still not be affected, go have it. Let anarchy reign. We learn as Mickey Rourke, he's a private investigator. he's hired by Robert De Niro, who's the devil, basically, to find Johnny Favorite, who is a singer. And through this journey, Mickey Rourke turns out to be Johnny Favorite, who's killing all the witnesses connected to his past persona. But in the whole thing, he doesn't know. He's split personality until the end when he's in the elevator going down as Robert De Niro calls his name, both names, taking his soul down to the pits of hell. I know I repeated that twice. I was trying to make it sound cool. It just didn't work out. It's okay, though. Number
Yeah,
three.
it's fine.
Number three.
It's fine. It didn't work out great.
Number
I'm gonna watch it. I've never seen it.
Oh, it's so good. I highly recommend it. It's Mickey Rourke does a phenomenal. This is pre-Mickey Rourke boxing era. This is when he was still good looking.
Mhm.
So like it flows. And Robert De Niro is just
It's gold claims, sir. What's your third one, dude?
like, yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say before he aged into looking like Axl Rose's lesbian lover.
Yeah, but that you're talking 35 years now. Before that,
So
all right. What's number three?
number three is a gimme. 1983. Felissa Rosser as Peter and Angela from Sleepaway Camp.
Okay.
Seeing that movie, knowing as a kid what the ending was, but when you watch it for the first time and the big reveal, and yeah, the fit, just the face.
That's gonna be the thumbnail for YouTube. Just so you know.
It just, oh man, I wasn't expecting it, and then just to hear it, you're like, as an audience member, you feel bad for him, but at the same time, like that soup didn't deserve it. That guy didn't deserve to get drowned in that soup. The chef, nor the bees in the bathroom. What, you don't remember when she throws the hornet's nest in the toilet stall?
No, I'm back to the chef with the soup. I thought he did deserve it.
Does he deserve it?
Wasn't he
Was he a
kind of a
dick?
creep?
Yes,
I was
he
gonna
was
say
kind
it
of a
sounds like
creep.
Petter.
Yes, he
Sounds
was.
like
think
a
he-
pederast written all over him.
Yeah, I think he had some of that creepy thing.
All right, so
Yeah.
he did deserve it. One of them didn't deserve it.
Keep
though.
away from the Campbell soup, boys. All right. But whoever deserved it or not, what's number two? Rolling you through these now.
Number two really me up actually when I first saw it. The Mist, 2007. Thomas Jane. Yeah, they survive this whole ordeal in a grocery store. They shoot the
You
bitch.
shouldn't spoil this one. You shouldn't spoil this one. Because this one's recent enough where people are still kind of learning about it, watching it for the first time.
It's just
Plus, it's a different ending than the story.
yeah. I'm just gonna say the movie's
It's-
fucked.
There's the twist ending that stomps on your everything. I mean, you can spoil it, I guess, but that's a big spoiler. That's an even bigger spoiler than the movie we did for this episode.
You want to hold it off?
Yeah,
I don't want to hold it off.
John's nodding.
Yeah,
I don't think you should do it.
It
I don't
just,
think you should do it because that one is a visceral twist.
did you guys shed a tear though? That's all I'm gonna ask because I felt bad.
Oh, I felt terrible.
Yeah.
I had
No,
read
I
the
don't-
short story and the novella twice, and I watched the movie and I felt awful at the end of the movie. It was the worst. And this is before I had kids. Now I'm a giant wuss. I'm always worried about stuff with kids and things like that. And that movie screwed me up.
The Mist was probably one of my 2 or 3 favorite Stephen King anything. I don't think I shed a tear at the end. I think it was just more of the, oh my God. Like,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
done.
They did him so dirty. That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
You don't have to get any deeper than that. They just did it. There's no need for it. Why were they so cruel? But they did. It's Dark Tower related, by the way. The Mist is a Dark Tower related story, and it has everything to do with the Dark Tower, and it's a Dark Tower related story. Yeah.
Well, this can lead to number one. Speak about stories. This guy loves to write stories. M. Night Shyamalan, Shyamalan Ding Dong,
Shyamalan Ding-dong?
as Martin calls him, and that's The Sixth Sense. Bruce Willis and Haley Joel Osment. 1999. This I can spoil this. This came out in 1999. It's a
I think
90s movie.
everybody knows this twist at this point.
Yeah.
I hope.
Nate Barnes again has a great bit on this where he talks about the twist at the end. He's like, I'm gonna ruin it for you. Don't pretend like you were gonna go rent it from Blockbuster tonight, he says. So I agree with you. This one we can spoil.
Yeah, I just remember sitting. This is fifth grade came out, so I was in fifth grade. Skipped school. We had a cheap box. I knew it was on pay-per-view. Went up in my uncle's room, watched it, and it was creepy. You know, being a fifth grader, 11 years old, I was like on the edge. But the ending is really what gets you. The reveal that Bruce Willis has been a ghost the entire time, and it's like, holy, this is why he can see him and no one else can interact, and it's like it all comes together, similar in a way to like April Fool's, how everything comes together at the end. The Sixth Sense comes together at the end like that too, but totally two different movies.
What he's saying to you people is that Bruce Willis is dead the whole movie. He's dead. He's flirting around it. He's dead the whole movie. That's the end. He sees ghosts. The guy he's been talking to the whole movie is a ghost. He's dead. We don't realize that the whole time nobody's ever talking to him directly. And we realize he never speaks to his wife the whole movie. The Nate Barnes joke in his stand-up routine is that it's more believable that he didn't talk to his wife for a whole year because she was mad at him. That's why none of us figured out that he was dead. Because I get what this guy's going through. It's hard. Marriage is hard.
I take that.
So that's the twist. But there you go. I just punched that home for you.
I remember watching that movie and saying, oh, I'm so excited to see what this guy does in the future, not realizing that he was just going to try to replicate that twist for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
And he never pulled it off again, ever.
No.
The best movie he made after that is one of the least known, too. Lady in the Water was actually very good. People like The Village, too. But
I did not.
Signs was okay. Yeah, I didn't like The Village. Signs was okay.
Split?
But Signs was good, not because of him. No.
You didn't like Split?
I mean, Split, well, no, I did like Split. But that's because
Patricia.
he was riding the coattails of Unbreakable. Without, was it Anna Taylor-Joy? Is that her name?
Mm-hmm. Anna Taylor-Joy.
And Split, without her, I don't know if Split would have held up either, but I digress. I did enjoy what they did with it. His own little super villain universe, but we are running out of time, so we're going to segue over to John.
What's your top five, big guy?
My top five. Crank's gone wrong.
Okay.
Number 5. Terror Train, the 1981. There's a remake. Don't do the remake. Go to 1980. Get Jamie Lee Curtis. So, a group of teens lure Kenny to a hotel room with a promise that he's going to get to hook up with Jamie Lee Curtis. Instead, he climbs into bed with a corpse. That sends him on a mental spiral that leads him to being institutionalized. Years later, he returns to get his revenge on a train ride on New Year's Eve.
Just reminded me of Clerks and the scene where she hooks up with the dead guy in the bathroom. Spoiler alert. And she goes catatonic. He was hard for how long?
I love Clerks. Number 4, Final Girls.
Yep.
Never saw that either.
Final Girls is pretty fun. So, a lot of it is a movie within a movie. The movie within the movie is called Camp Bloodbath. And in that, the counselors prank a young Billy by throwing firecrackers under the bathroom door, which, has catastrophic consequences.
As one goes.
Billy comes back, escapes the movie, and leaves a trail of bodies behind him and a final girl.
It's fun. Let's see what they did there.
Okay. My number 3 is Trick or Treat from 2007. It's the group of kids reenacting a bus crash. They killed 8 kids as a prank on another kid, only for the dead kids to come back to life.
That's cool.
It's one of the best.
Like a little Children of the Corn vibe. Yeah, probably is the best segment. That movie, it was good. Good enough.
Yeah. It's good enough.
I love those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those. Not they're not even homages. Just I like those snippet movies like Creepshow and Tales from the Dark Side used to be. I really miss those. So whenever I see something
Anthologies.
like that, it pulls it off. Tales from the Hood, right? The anthologies, those types of things. I miss them. So it's nice to see them get pulled off.
The ABCs of Death.
Yep.
Forgot about that.
Trilogy of Terror.
The VHSs. Trilogy of Terror.
We should do one where we rank all those one day. But I digress.
No one's going to defeat a little Sinky doll from Trilogy of Terror, okay? No, you can.
Yeah. I just called it racism. It's called it racism. So what it was, that one and the one, which is the one where the Indian comes to life and kills the guys.
Creepshow 2. The cigar store
Creepshow
Indian.
too, that one felt, even as a kid, I was like, this feels like it's very anti-India. Native American. But back then it was Indian.
Cigar store Native Americans.
Yeah, exactly. He was like outside of this old stinky shop, and there was some dude's statue, and he goes on a golem-esque revenge streak for him.
Isn't
It's
it
so weird.
Isn't it weird that same statue would appear in Seinfeld 2 years later and Kramer would have a hold of it?
Yes. Yes, absolutely is weird. And then isn't it also weird that Kramer turned out to be like a neo-Nazi and he started screaming about the Jews up on the stage? Oh, no, Blake. No, he said way worse word, actually.
No, he did.
He went way away. Yeah.
Yeah, like, because I could say Jew on YouTube. I can't say the word he said on YouTube, nor do I want to. No. And moving away and on to movie number 3.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Jamie Lee Curtis is back. It's prom night.
Yeah, that's a key one, man.
And so a group of kids decide to play a prank on a young girl, and she falls to her death. Years later, on prom night, someone is there to avenge her death. I loved. So Jamie Lee Curtis, you think you like Halloween and she like evolves into other stuff immediately. No, she's still sticking around these B horror movies. But not only that, she drags Leslie Nielsen into this one too.
Well, I mean, Leslie Nielsen's always down for a good time. He's like, prom night. Let's see here. What do we got there? What's the skinny on this script?
Is there a fart joke here? Yes.
Yeah, just we lighten up this script a little bit here and here. Leslie Nielsen's national treasure, for sure. It's a good thing he didn't die.
Sorry, Kearns.
I'm afraid I have some bad news.
Well, at least we still have OJ.
Nah, he's dead too.
Oh, man. Well, his wife's with us. That's good.
You have, and no?
I don't want
so
television.
much.
I don't understand.
You actually, this is going on. 3 of the 4 main people from the Naked Gun movies gone.
Yeah.
You have Priscilla Presley.
Yeah. Wait. God.
What a buzzkill. What's your number 1?
Number 1. The Burning.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Carrie. Which I guess it's too similar to prom night.
Yeah.
And it's not really a prank so much as they were mercilessly bullying her until she used her telekinesis to kill them all.
Yeah.
So, what's the word you said?
The Burning.
The Burning. There it is.
Well, I mean, team's pulling a prank on a camp caretaker by throwing a burning skull filled with bugs into his cabin. That causes his death by burning.
And bugs, presumably.
Only for Cropsy to return.
Oh, they named him Cropsy?
Yep. It's
based on because there's a real dude. Okay, you talk. You tell people the thing I know.
Who?
Right.
Who, me?
You were in the middle of it. Yeah.
It's based
It's
on
gonna be on 38 seconds of time.
It's based on an old campfire story, but this is the big kicker. I thought you'd want to take on this, but it's who wrote it. Harvey Weinstein. Good old
Why would
Harvey
I want
wrote
to take
it.
that on?
Oh,
Why
I'm,
would I want to take that on?
I'm just saying
I
he
never
wrote it.
coerced Gwyneth Paltrow to do anything. Damn it.
Her
Yeah,
head was
yeah,
in a
he
I
box.
don't care what you said.
It's really a good thing
No.
that Harvey Weinstein stayed on the straight and narrow, though.
So Cropsy is a campfire story, but there's a Netflix documentary on it because they can't. Jesus, John, that one almost went right over my head. I'm glad I circled back to it in my brain to actually get it. So Cropsy is based on this story. It's in Staten Island. Cropsy originated, and the kids were always afraid to go in the woods because Cropsy is their boogeyman. Well, it turned out that Cropsy was a real dude. And all the stories originated from and shutting down. I think the Reagan administration just pulled funding, which is, something we're not unused to today, from all the psych wards. And they just let the people out on the last day of work. They were like, what do we do with the psychos? So they just let them out. They were all living in the woods. And Cropsy was just some dude from the psych ward on Staten Island that was living in the woods. And they found him out there eventually because some kids were looking for him and they found him. I think he killed a guy. And that's like a true story. Cropsy's a real deal.
I just thought it was a story. Not that part I didn't know.
Yeah.
He was the Jersey
Let
Devil.
all the lunatics down. The Jersey Devil. Staten Island might as well be Jersey. We can have it. We'll negotiate a trade. We get the Meadowlands.
Yes.
We can have Staten Island.
You-
No, all right.
You
just
can
take
keep
Staten
it all.
Island.
Take Staten Island.
Can we give them
You know
Long
what?
Island?
Take Staten Island and give us the Statue of Liberty.
I'll take it.
I mean, I think we technically just sort of. It might not be ours, but we're the older brother who keeps it under his bed anyway. That kind of thing. It's like, yeah, it's yours. Jersey. Anyway, if you guys haven't figured it out, we're from New York and we're jerks. But all right, so that's The Burning, Death by Burning and Bugs. That's pretty cool.
Now,
Cropsy was real. 9/11 was an inside job, and April Fool's Day is a good movie. So
hold on. I got to throw a curveball out there. What came first, The Burning or Friday the 13th? That's the curveball.
Friday the 13th.
Similar
Right.
stories.
he
I'll
knows the
believe you.
dates. Right. All right, guys. So that was April Fool's Day, kind of, and Terminator, and a
Everything
whole lot
under
of
the
other,
sun.
and Sylvester Stallone, and how
Rambo
Rocky
and Rocky and
Tim Curry.
That happens to
Sinbad.
me anytime we
Tim
do
Curry
a
is
standalone.
alive. Bruce Willis is alive. OJ is not.
Leslie Nielsen's dead. But every time we do a standalone, we meander, and I think there's a little bit of amazing in that. Maybe just a little though. But we also tend to do it on days where we're exhausted, which we are right now. So I hope you guys had a good time, and we're out of here. Have a good night.
Have a good one, guys.